Okay, let's go watch those DVDs. Play track 1. The display goes blank for a moment, then the face of Green Winters winks onto the screen. I was thinking about Adrian today. Not as he was when he disappeared, not as the fabled Dragon Slayer, or the big-time CEO of Dale Defense. I was thinking about when we were kids. Well, I was always more of a kid than he was, of course. He was 15 years older than me. In a way, he was more like a parent than a brother. Winter pauses. His gaze drops to an invisible point on the table in front of him. So I was thinking about this time when we were on holiday. Our parents took us to the island of Pole to enjoy the beach. I must have been about 5 years old. Adrian was 20. It'd be his last family vacation with us. A year later, he'd begin his meteoric rise to fame and fortune. But on this trip, he was my brother. And when I fell out of the little paddle boat that our parents rented and started sinking fast into the Baltic, he was the one who dove in to rescue me. You saved my life that day, Adrian. I'll love you forever for that. And I will find you. I owe you that much. Found an old news article that mentions Adrian from way back in 2036. It was printed in a financial magazine called Das Finanzwesen, one of those chic print-based mags that they produce for the retro crowd. There aren't any clues in here, but it's good to see someone else acknowledge his existence. He clicks an off-screen button and the image of Winters disappears. It is replaced by a digital scan of the magazine page. Satyr Crew's stock suffers in post-buyout brain drain November 12, 2039. In the aftermath of the Dragon Lawfear's hostile takeover of Satyr Crew... Fuck off! Bullshit company. A continuing brain drain of high-level executives is causing ongoing worry among company shareholders. The company's stock took a major hit when Lawfear disposed former CEO Wilhelmina Graf Benoit last August. 3 months later, long-held power positions within the SKI empire continue to empty as the Dragon consolidates its power base. The most recent casualties of Lawfear's takeover include Alexander Kobayashi, a former COO of Satyr Munitions, Matt House-Donner, former treasurer of Bureau Datafax, and Werner Harding, former CEO of Dale Defense. Harding stepped into the role to replace Dr. Adrian Vauclair, who disappeared under mysterious circumstances 2 years ago. Winter's face winks back onto the screen. So there you have it. That's what they had to say about Adrian a mere 2 years after his disappearance. My brother, the footnote. While the track does load, it's clearly corrupted. The screen fills with a meaningless stream of text. I wonder if this actually means something and that's why they're showing it, but I kind of doubt it. Dr. Vauclair, it is my sad duty to inform you that, by unanimous vote of the Aufsichtsrat, your position as CEO of Dale Defense will be terminated at the end of this calendar month. Your continued misallocation of company funds to pursue personal agendas cannot and will not be tolerated any longer. The supervisory board is not unsympathetic to your mental state. The trauma that you endured during pursuit of the Dragon Feuerschwinge must have been enormous. But your continuing obsession with the dragon, the dead dragon, I might add, has proven a negative influence on this company and an unjustified drain on company resources. The board wishes you all the best in your future endeavors. We have prepared a generous severance package to assist you in this time of transition. If there's anything more that we can do to help you, please don't hesitate to ask. Werner Harding. Reject the DVD. Alright, let's talk to Amsel. I said talk to Amsel. Amsel calls over his shoulder at the sound of your approach. His eyes are glued to the company's display. Aether, Frau Mueller should be on her way, but before you go to the meeting site, I have news. He glances at you, and his words trail off. Upon seeing the expression on your face, Amsel's voice becomes grave. It can wait. Tell me what has happened. Nothing much. Got attacked by a bunch of idiots who didn't know who they were messing with. They lost. I see. And these idiots, did they drop anything that could be of use? Any identifying information? Hand over the encrypted PDA. One of them dropped this. Amsel takes the PDA from you and examines it. Yes, I should be able to extract some information from this. Give me a moment. He plugs the PDA into his computer and goes to work. A few minutes later, he lets out a grunt of dismay. Well, Aether, I was able to recover a file, but unfortunately that's all I'll ever be able to pull off of this thing. All that anyone will, truth be told. It must have been running some kind of counter-intrusion software. The instant that I gained access, it bricked itself. Amsel disconnects the useless PDA and drops it to the ground. It clatters to a rest on the metal floor. One whole file. Nice job, Paul. He shakes his head in exasperation. Your attitude is trying, Aether. This is serious. I'd expect that you treat it as such. Maybe I'll let Blitz take a crack at the next PDA we find all people are bad with computers. His eyes shoot Dagger at you. That would be a mistake, but it's your call. Now, do you want to hear what I pulled off the PDA or not? Go for it. A comm file. The audio is all here, but it looks like we've only got video from one side of the conversation. Let's see what we have. He opens the file and a nightmarishly familiar face appears on screen. Bachmeyer. The voice bleats out from Ansel's speakers filling the room. Audrin here. What's your status? Bachmeyer's image is garbled, but his voice sounds young and eager. Target acquired, sir. You were right. We spotted her on the U-Bahn, just like you said. Probably on her way to a job. As per your instructions, we're going to try to take her out on her way back. She'll be more vulnerable that way. Hopefully injured and low on ammo too, but only time will tell. Good man. Proceed as instructed. Will do. Costman is rigging up an ambush spot now. We'll try to make it quick. The orc with the nightmare face nods. Send me a comm when the job is done. Audrin out. The image on the computer screen dies. Amsel turns to face you. Well, our scarred friend makes an appearance. Aether, I suspect that Green Winter's predictions are coming true. I believe that Feuerschwinge is behind this. Under Amsel's patient exterior, you can feel the worry that's eating him. Be on your guard, you and the rest of your team. You made it through this attack relatively unscathed, but next time you might not be so lucky. At least we now have a name to put to the face. Audrin. That's not all we have. As I was saying when you first walked in, I have been productive as well. I was able to uncover some new evidence in your absence, and coincidentally enough, that evidence pertains to our scarred friend. You might recall that I said I'd dig into Audrin's skin grafts. Well, I did, and that search has finally borne fruit. One of my contacts outside of Berlin handles the paperwork for private hospitals all across Germany. It's a dull, boring job, but it does have its perks. Amsel pulls open a file on his screen. A medical chart opens up on the screen. Amsel pulls open a file on his computer. A medical chart opens up on the screen. As it turns out, our scarred friend's skin drafts were performed at a legitimate hospital after all. Some good news for once. What do they say? Well, they're rather light on identifying information. Our friend's name is listed as Max Mustermann, the local equivalent of John Doe, but they do cover his injuries in great detail. Audrin's injuries were extensive. He had 2 broken ribs and a shattered pelvis, and he had sustained third-degree burns over 60% of his body. Most damningly of all, he was suffering from acute radiation poisoning. His body had absorbed over 5,000 millisieverts of ionizing radiation, a lethal dose without treatment. The information dries up at this point. We know that he was treated and discharged, but what happened afterward remains a mystery. He pauses for a moment, studying your reaction. Your thoughts? Hold nothing back. I'd like to hear everything that comes to mind. Audrin might have spent some time in the socks. That radiation poisoning didn't happen on its own. Agreed. 5,000 millisieverts is a lot of exposure. Short of basking in the glow of an unshielded reactor, I don't know how he'd have absorbed that much ionizing radiation without spending time in the socks. Alright, so Audrin was heavily irradiated, most likely from time spent in the socks. What else does this tell you? Well, those burns sound like dragon fire, but if the fire wing burned Audrin, why would he be working for her now? I don't think that Audrin is working for the fire wing. I believe that he is serving her. On Green Winter's second DVD, he mentions that there is a cult within the Socks that worships the Fire Wing, the Disciples of the Cleaning Fire. I believe that Audrin belongs to his cult. That's bad news. There's nothing more dangerous than a zealot. My thoughts exactly. A hireling can sometimes be bribed or reasoned with. A pawn can be liberated. But if the Fire Wing soldiers look upon her as a goddess figure, nothing short of killing her will deter them, and even that might not stop them. So it is possible that Audrin is a dragon cultist. This seems to fit with much of the other information that we've uncovered. Did any other red flags jump out to you? The hospital couldn't ID Audrin. Either somebody covered his tracks for him or he was living completely off the grid. Indeed, if Audrin was a denizen of the Socks, a glowpunk, his lack of identifying information would make sense. Amsel adjusts his glasses. It's a working theory, at any rate. So to sum up, Audrin has probably spent time in the Socks. It is possible he even lived there as a member of Feuerschwinge's dragon cult, and he is after you. Amsel pauses for a moment before continuing. In my mind, all of this reinforces one fact. We need to find Vauclair, and we need to do it fast. The hell with that. I'm going to find Audrin and take him down. If he should wander into your crosshairs between now and our attack on Feuerschwinge, then by all means, take him out. But I don't think that you're going to get the opportunity. It's far more likely that he'll continue throwing his men at you until one of them scores a lucky shot. We need to continue forward with our plan to hit the Harfield Manor. Taking down the Fire Wing and her lapdog is the only way to guarantee that these attacks will cease. But before we do that, it is imperative that we find Vauclair. All the more reason to gather Alice's fee. Quickly then. Agreed. There's a buzzing sound from Paul's wrist. He lifts his hand to look at his PDA. And as luck would have it, Freumüller has arrived. Best of luck at the meeting, Afer. Remember, this is urgent. We need that money. I'm on it. And eventually, I will pick up BioWare. Sexy, sexy BioWare. I do want to take a moment to buy some medical stuff before I forget. Oh, let's see if Kami has anything to say. Kami puts away her comm and grins at you, a puckish gleam in her eye. Hey pal, I missed you. Got any new stories from me? I was wondering whose stories around here are worth listening to. Well, that's classified information, Chummer. If you stick around here a while, you'll figure it out soon enough. In the meantime, a little tip to start you off. I personally like chatting up the old guys. They've always got some great stories. I'm not an old man. Does that mean my stories aren't great? Cammy laughs, a lilting giggle more appropriate for her age and the way she speaks, all posturing and poise. You know what I mean. People who've been around, seen things, been there, done that, got the scars, want to chat about it. And what do they have to say? Oh, this, that, and the other thing. You can talk to them yourself if you really want the info. Just make sure that if you want to talk to Alsug, you buy a cup of real coffee first, otherwise he won't stop pouting at you. What's his deal anyway? Well, he's taken up residence as the official Turk, stereotypes and everything. Spy master, coffee brewer, outsider. It works for him. He had to make some sort of living here in the Q's Bazaar, you know? He's not got a trade skill. He's not goblin-nice, so he couldn't hang with Bachenbauer. If he opened a normal shop, he'd be asked by someone thinking he's stealing their job because he's not German. The coffee shop was a good option because it's obvious. He stays exotic and does what they expect of him with the intel and stuff. She pulls absent-mindedly at some hair in her face. Sorry about the intel dump. It's not really useful information, and you probably guessed anyway at this point, but you asked, so. You've been a real doll. Gotten way too much information out of me, though. I'll see you around, yeah? I don't know who's that for, but... Hello, Frau Müller. As you press your way forward through the cozy, smoke-filled confines of Café Kesve, you catch sight of Frau Müller. She appears as Amsel described her, an impressive-looking woman of Vatslander descent with coffee-colored skin and dark, wavy hair. Everything about her screams corporate executive, from her expensive-looking suit to her tastefully understated makeup. She's obviously nervous, but she's hiding it well. She locks eyes with you and hesitates only slightly before speaking. How is that coffee-colored skin? She looks pretty fucking white to me. Afer, I presume. Herr Amsel told me that I could meet you here. He wasn't lying. He said that you had a job for me. She holds her silence for a moment, then nods. Yes, I do. In truth, I'm in desperate need of your help. Then tell you what you need, Freumüller. She offers you a small smile. An assumed name, obviously, but I have been told that this is how you people do business. She straightens in her seat and tries on a smile. It hangs there for a second, then fades away. She sighs. From my accent, you've no doubt inferred that I'm an Atslaner. Further, you may have guessed who I work for. As technology, I'd assume. She nods. I've been with the company for over a decade. In that time, I've worked on all manner of projects. From the innocuous to the obscene, my hands have touched it all. I really don't see why you need corporate etiquette to figure that out, because generally you think, yeah, someone from Atslan, they probably work for As Technology. Never once did I question the wisdom of our research. Never once did I consider blowing the whistle on my employers. I kept my nose down, worked hard, and excelled at the tasks set before me. They must love you there. No more than any other employee, but my commitment and work ethic were recognized, and I ascended the corporate ladder fairly quickly, which brings me to where I am today. Last month, I was transferring here from my home in Tenochtitlan. He told me that an employee of my caliber was needed in Berlin and that I would be working on a project with wide-reaching applications. The only other detail that I was given was the name of the project. Bloodline. That doesn't sound good. She looks you in the eye, and for the first time you can see the cracks in her composure. She's doing a good job of hiding it, but deep down, this woman is terrified. I've seen many terrible things in my life, Aether. In Tenochtitlan, blood magic is commonplace. Take a moment to imagine what that means. In the underground markets, people are bought and sold as chattel. Street children are rounded up and bled like lambs. I witnessed all of these things by the age of 12. She takes a deep breath and lets it out slowly. Seeing such things, it changes you, makes you numb. But what I found when I arrived here was worse. This project, it horrifies me, Aether, and it must be stopped. Tell me everything you know about Bloodline. She shakes her head. The less that you know, the better, for both of us. You'll just have to trust me on that. You need only know that it is evil, and that it is not a word I use lightly. If you won't tell me what this bloodline is, how do you expect me to stop it? Simple. She leans in and looks you in the eye. I want you to bring the building down. The computers, the research data, the mages and the scientists that are working to bring about this abomination. I want all of them burned to ash and buried in rubble. No compromises and no exceptions. Her tone softens. I'm sure that you have unanswered questions. I'm not in the habit of dealing with Shadowrunners. In truth, I spent the majority of my career living in fear of you people. But I do know that you're the only ones who can get this done. So tell me, Aether, is there anything more that you need to hear from me, or are you ready to make a decision? Paul Amsel is my representative in these matters. Why couldn't you tell all of this to him? I had to meet you in person, to look into your eyes and see the woman behind the name. Now that I have done so, I am sure you are the one that I need. Naturally, I would send any further information about the job to Herr Amsel, provided, of course, that you accept. What about any innocent people in the building? None of us are innocent, Aether, but if you need to salve your conscience, rest assured that at the hour of your approach, the only personnel authorized to be on the site will be security and senior members of the research team. And I assure you, neither are innocent in this matter. If the Bloodline project reaches completion, nobody will be safe ever again. This sounds like hyperbole, I know, but it isn't. The Bloodline project will lead to countless deaths. I am certain enough of this to hire you, despite the fact that doing so will probably cost me my own life. I'm not a demolitions project, Frau Müller. How do you expect me to level a building? You don't need to be. All that you need is a competent decker. The facility is powered by a number of on-site generators. There are safeguards in place to prevent them from overloading. In the event of a power spike, the system is designed to shut itself down. But I know how you can disable those safeguards. Once the generators begin to overload, you'll have a limited time to reach a safe distance. The explosion will be quite catastrophic. What can you tell me about the building's security? Expected to be tight. In addition to their standard security team, As Technology has taken out a knight-errant high-threat response team contract to protect the building. Corporate doesn't seem to mind contracting a competitor for emergency response services. That should give you some indication as to the uniqueness of this project. At any rate, I believe that I've come up with a solution to the knight-errant problem. I'll discuss the matter with your Herr Amsel if you decide to take the job. Alright, so let's take compensation. 36,000 new yen, as I told your Herr Amsel. That's what I've allocated for the job. That's fair. It's better than fair. I've done my homework, Aether. I reached a decision. Yes, and I'll take the job. Her face visibly brightens. In that case, it's a deal. I can't tell you how relieved I am, Aether. Thank you for helping me to bring this nightmare to an end. I will iron out the remaining details with your Herr Amsel. He'll want to talk this over with you anyway, I'm sure. You're a good woman, Aether. You are saving more lives than you know. Welcome back, Aether. How did the meeting with Frau Müller go? I accepted the job. Any ideas on how to tackle this? Yes, a few. Frau Müller has provided us with detailed information on the facility. I have vetted the information and it seems to hold up. Based on this intel, I have formulated what I believe will be an effective strategy to bring down the building. According to Müller's intel, the facility is extraordinarily well guarded. Whatever this Bloodline project is, the Azis have spared no expense to defend it. The facility is patrolled by As Technology's internal security personnel. On their own, they would pose a challenge, but I don't doubt that you could brute force your way through them. Unfortunately, they will not be on their own. As Technology has purchased one of Knight Errant's more expensive security contracts as an additional line of defense. So kicking the front door is out then. Amsel nods. I should say so. I've pulled some strings with an old contact of mine, and he's provided me with the address of a small software developer, OTK International. They write the firmware updates for Knight Errant's comm systems, and the defense should be considerably weaker than AS technologies. My contact has informed me that OTK stores an off-site hard copy of every firmware update it develops for data security purposes. My suggestion is this. You hit the office of OTK International and reduce their computers to slag. In the interim, I will have the hard copy of their next update replaced with a compromised version. When OTK's next update goes live, our compromised version will be pushed out to Knight Errant. When you hit the AS technology facilities, I'll be able to track Knight Errant via their comm links. This should make the run much more manageable. He fishes in his pocket for something. A moment later, he produces a corporate ID with your face on it. This will get you to the front door of the office park that contains OTK International. My contact was only able to provide me with one card, so you'll need to let the rest of your team in through a side door. Alright, sounds like a plan. Very good. OTK's offices aren't far from here. You should take the U-band there when you're ready. Hiccups. Alrighty, let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Woohoo. Let's go to extract the Mark 6 prototype because... Monolithic, plastic, sterile. The Berlin offices of AG Chemie Europa is all of these things and more. The worst qualities of modern corporate culture all mixed into a toxic stew and sluiced into a single prefab office building. Thankfully, you shouldn't have to stay long. According to the intel that your client provided, this should be a simple smash and grab operation, and you've been given the tools to carry it out with a minimum of fuss. The Mark 6 prototype, whatever it is waiting for you on the 25th floor. It's time to go and get it. Whoops. Alright. Also, I hope I didn't have to, like, actually pick up the black box, and it is, in fact, in my thing. What's this? These crates have been sealed. The only visible markings are Project Atlas. I'm gonna leave it for a minute, just in case. I can pick it up later. Alright, let's click a button. After a few moments of sifting through cables, you find a diagnostic connector with the right input to fit the little black box that Herr Schmidt gave you. Plug in the little black box. The connector slips into the box with a satisfying click. A tiny red light set onto the box's lid begins flashing. After a few seconds, it turns solid yellow and then finally shifts to green. At that instant, all the lights in the garage turn off. A few seconds later, the emergency lighting kicks in. If what Schmidt told you was true, you've just killed the main power for most of the building. In theory, the box has also circumvented the security cameras on the building's upper floors. You should be able to intercept the camera feeds by tapping into the elevator console on the 21st floor. Handy little thing. Alright, team, let's go. You know what? I'm just gonna pick this up now. Even if I do have to come back through here... Actually, I could just switch it with... Because I am useless at throwing grenades, apparently. Anything interesting? I do kind of wish there were, like, a few more looting opportunities, but oh well. Without warning, your comlink screen bursts into static. You hear a telltale series of clicks. Someone has established an audio connection to your comlink. A moment later, a deep, sonorous voice speaks to your ear. You recognize it instantly. Your lodge contact, Luke Ajur. Afer, do not speak, just listen. I have a proposition for you. I understand that your team is currently en route to retrieve a package, the Mark 6 prototype if I'm not mistaken. Myself and I are interested in acquiring the Mark 6 for our own studies. We'd like you to deliver the device to us. Once you've acquired the Mark 6, you will proceed back to the garage as planned. There, you will find a transport parked beside your client's van. Load the Mark 6 into the transport and you'll be rewarded. Herr Schmidt will also be dealt with to protect you from reprisal. To accept our offer, simply proceed as instructed and return the prototype to us. Please note that we need the Mark 6 in undamaged condition. If it is not in full working order, it is useless to us. As you know, our organization takes good care of its friends. It would be your adventure to help us. Good day. The line goes dead with a click. A moment later, the sound of your teammates' comm chatter floods back into your ears. Hey, hold up a second. Blitz shop shorts. What's going on, Chief? I just got a comm from a contact of mine. His organization wants the Mark 6 for themselves, and they're offering us a lot of money to make that happen. I think I must have misheard you. For a second there, it sounded like you were thinking of stabbing our client in the back for some extra new yen. But that can't be what you said. You know better than to do something like that, right? All I'm saying is that I got the call. I haven't decided what to do about it yet. I don't know who this mystery contact is, but we need money and we need it fast, so I say go for it. Besides, if you piss off this Herr Schmidt, who cares? I mean, we live in Berlin. There's bound to be plenty of other clients out there. We'll worry about that later. For now, let's get on with the run. There's a long pause. I don't like anything about this, but at the end of the day, I guess that's your call. Make the right one for all of our sakes. I'm not sure. Like, I don't like the organization, and also I read some spoilers by accident, and it makes me kind of less inclined to help them because spoilers, I guess. It's more of a personal vendetta that he seems to be going about, and not like an actual thing that's me like, oh, like, it'll actually help the world or whatever. Iger indicates a console built into the wall beside the elevator. This looks like the elevator console. The camera feed should have been routed here. It only takes a moment to connect your PDA, and immediately visual feeds from all over the building begin to flood in. Yeah, definitely a handy little toy. Now I really want one. Wake up. But, like, how do I look into the different cameras? Like, I don't really get it. Oh, wait. Oh, it lets me see everything without, like, the fog of war stuff. So I can avoid people. I'm clicking on this. Can you please, like, click on it? Thank you. Authorization required for access to executive. Interesting. I don't have a mage with me though, so, oh well. Honestly, I'm probably gonna have to end up in there at some point, which is unfortunate, but oh well. Oh dear. Whee. There's a sign. Data store records. Records terminal. Welcome to the AGC Data Library Archive and Employee Record System. Enter search terms to begin. Search the archive. What was it? Fuck, what was the thing I'm looking for? Okay, Mark 6. Let's look up that. Executive lever. God damn it. Decking 5. I can't bypass it because I'm not this dude. Unfortunately. Warning, toxic gas detected, laboratory lockdown engaged. Laboratory entrance. And there's a very dead man in there. Observation console. Beep. A warning light strobes from the console at your approach. Large white letters shriek out against a red background. Warning, toxic containment detective, COC-12, phosgene gas, hazardous material overriding gauge, laboratory entrances locked down. Input command. Access substance library. Connection failed, network access unavailable. Okay. I have no idea. I feel like if I do something wrong, it'll be very bad. Wait. Yeah. Use direct terminal access in the data store. Substance library. Okay, so I need to go back to the data store and type in, like, substance library, I guess. Click. Come on. Nope. I don't know. That's data storage, right? Building maintenance. Medical supplies again. Junior Executive Werner Hardiger. There's a bar. I can steal shit. Hooray. Damn, I don't have social etiquette. I'm gonna grab a bottle for the road. Cheap booze. Oh. Damn. At first glance, the terminal appears unremarkable. Its password locked and a cheerful screensaver marched across its display. Let's inspect it. Upon closer inspection, you notice something. Interspersed among the colorful bouncing sprites of the screensaver, there's a symbol that you recognize. The dead drop marker of the that place. As you study the display, a green light winks on above the terminal's display, the recording light of a pinhole camera. The screensaver disappears and the screen floods with glowing green text. Welcome, Aether. Secret project. This is an open request for information about the projects and material prototypes being developed at this facility. It is known that a synthetic drug being developed here in support of a project called Atlas. I'm gonna write this down just because my memory is garbage. And actually opening up the menu to look at like hints and stuff is actually kind of a pain. In addition, a functional prototype called Mark 6 is being developed. Yeah, I know that. The first contributor to provide us with project data for Atlas, the chemical formula for the new drug, and visual records of the Mark 6 in operation will be handsomely rewarded. All three pieces of information are required for a payout. AG Chem Europa is known to be a heartless corporation with little regard for metahuman safety or morality. That's like all corporations, really. They guard their secrets jealously and seek to hoard all information gained for themselves. This behavior cannot be allowed to go unpunished. What they know, all shall know. No longer will they hide their secrets in the shadows. The timely delivery of this information will be well rewarded. Freedom of quality information. Okay. Door console. Beep. I don't know any of this. I'm gonna have to get into a fight with someone, aren't I? Because I can't think of any other way to find what I need. Because I need passcodes and I don't have them. Apparently I should have brought Daytrick with me. Security room. Beep. Intruders. There's a few of them. Oh geez, you just like... Although, I feel like I should have been able to hit them first since, you know, I took them by surprise and all that. Why was he set to fists? He's always on his gun. What the fuck? Also, he just killed his friend, I think. Which is really fucking funny. Oh, I'm doing really bad. Stop throwing things! Glory, we can murder this person. Very good job. Wow. Woohoo. Oh fuck, I forgot to change him over again. I gotta stop doing that. Get fucked. I'm pretty sure he just died to his friend. I got the achievement where someone dies from dot damage, but I'm pretty sure she ended up killing him. Because I don't think bleeding affects per move, it's per round. Oh my god, can you please just fucking... Oh, my sight blocked. Hold on. Actually, that sounds right. I misread the name of that drug completely. Of course I missed. Ow. Rude. Don't miss! What's the point of having really high fucking scores and shit if I just miss all the time? That's bullshit. Let's look at the desk. 54139. Lying atop a clipboard is a security ID card. The name on the card is Leonard Stromberg. The paperwork clipped to the board indicates that this is a replacement ID. It was scheduled for pickup tomorrow morning, but it hasn't been embedded with the security code yet. There's a 5-digit code scrawled in blue ink on the top page in the file, 54139. What's this? It's a gun. Let's put it in my stash for now. I'll deal with it another time. Yay! A stack of business cards on the desk reveals that this belongs to one Annika Schroeder. A cursory search reveals that the desk drawers are stuffed full of lewd love notes, all hastily written on scraps of office stationery. Rummage through the notes. Exploring Annika's desk is like embarking on an odyssey of filth. 30 seconds in, and you've already learned 3 new euphemisms for sex in a storage closet, as well as exciting new definitions for a variety of common office terms. Thankfully, your search also turns up something more important, of more immediate value, a scrap of paper with a name and a 5-digit code scribbled on it. Chauffeur. 84792. On the desk is a file folder labeled Project Atlas. The folder is empty except for a single note, moved to digital archive and locked under executive authorization. Okay. Yes. Welcome, Herr Stromberg. Mark 6 prototype data stored under Project Atlas heading, redirecting inquiry Project Atlas. Volumes of information begin to flit across the screen. A good half of what you're seeing has been redacted, and the rest is written in impossibly dense corporate attempt to decipher the text. You scan the archive of information, collating it in your head as you go. Within a few seconds, a picture begins to form in your mind. From what you can tell, the ultimate goal of Project Atlas is to circumvent the effects of essence loss in metahuman subjects. I do know, apparently, at least by the time of Shadowrun 4th edition, there are procedures you can do to gain back essence loss. It is prohibitively expensive, and basically only corpos or Shadowruns who lucked out on a major windfall will be able to do. Apparently, a number of working prototypes have been built over the last year to test the theories put forward by project scientists. The most recent of these have been designated Mark 6. The report isn't all sunshine and rainbows. There are death reports in here. The mortality rate among test subjects has been appallingly high. The report also makes reference to Formula 17, a substance has been developed in support of Project Atlas. Formula 17. Download the project data to your PDA. Access the visual record. VP level authorization required. You wish to proceed. 84792. Maybe that's what 84792 is for. Yep. Welcome, Herr Hochschauffeur. There are too many records here to sort through quickly. A quick scan reveals the following details. Recording of laboratory experiments on metahumans, images of an extensive series of cyber surgeries being performed upon a large troll, recordings of that same troll carving his way through opponents with a massive axe, a gun cam footage from what appears to be a vehicle mounted chain gun. The weapon has been photographed, tearing apart a variety of targets, both artificial and organic. Copy that. Let's see if Formula 17 brings up anything. It does. 54139. It's executive, so I think I need the 84792 again. A complex chemical formula displays on screen along with a series of notes. Formula 17 appears to be a drug designed to suppress higher brain functions, specifically those functions related to emotional responses and decision-making skills. From what you can tell, the overall purpose of the drug is to render a subject submissive and pliant. The notes go on to suggest that Formula 17 was developed as a component of a larger project called Atlas. Apparently, Project Atlas has something to do with cybernetic augmentation. Formula 17 was developed to help reduce the incidence projection in Project Atlas's test subjects. Recent trials of the formula have been extremely encouraging. While initially a serious concern, fatalities have recently dropped off to statistically insignificant levels. The document is accompanied by a fairly extensive record of testing performed on metahuman subjects, along with death records over the course of the project. The Shockwave Riders will be interested in all of this information. According to the charter, sharing this information with the world will be a top priority. In the wrong hands, however, this formula could cause immense harm. I'll copy it. Yeah, I can't think of anything else to search. But I want to get in here, but I'm not sure what I need to do. Because it says to look up stuff, you need to search in the data thing, but like, let's do a quick save. But like, I don't know what I need to search to be able to figure it out, because like when I tried it before, it didn't get you anything. Oh wait, no, I could look up, is that what it was called? Yeah. COC-12, commonly known as phosgene gas, a highly toxic colorless gas that gained infamy for its use as a chemical weapon during the First World War. It is also that it is an industrial region and is a building block from which pharmaceuticals and other organic compounds can be synthesized. In low concentrations, its odor is reminiscent of freshly cut grass. The odor detection threshold for phosgene is 0.4 ppm, 4 times its threshold limit value. Phosphine-related deaths are generally caused by the interaction of the gas and the proteins of the pulmonary alveoli. The end result of this interaction is the destruction of the blood-air barrier, preventing the transmission of oxygen to the blood. Death by suffocation inevitably follows. It is highly... Okay, and it's suited to supply... NaHCO3, sodium bicarbonate for liquid phosgene, and NH3, ammonia for gaseous phosgene. It must be kept on hand to neutralize spills and leakages. Okay, that's what I need to do. It says it's gaseous. So I'll need to do that. Because I don't see any spills or anything. No, go back. Okay, so I need NH3. Karma gain 2. Hooray! And now we can see what's in here. Hopefully I don't die. But we should be good now. Body. Yeah, he dropped something. The scientist lays dead behind a small pile of smashed glass, and a number of beakers have been knocked over on the nearby table. I'll look at the terminal in a minute. Let's pick up this, whatever it is. I got jazz. Alright, what's on the terminal? I said, what's on the terminal? This computer is powered on, but in sleep mode. When the screen comes to life, you find a half-written text file on the screen. The timestamp on the most recent edit tells you it was written just a few minutes ago. I didn't sleep last night. Doesn't look like I'm going to sleep tonight either. The last test batch failed. My fault. I got the mixture wrong. Sloppy work, Jensen. I can barely keep my eyes open. Got to try again, though. No excuses in this office. I despise relying on stimulants, but I've got no choice. Gotta keep going. Progress marches on. Starting a new batch. If Hoshifer's pet isn't ready to be tested tomorrow, well, best not to think about that. Got to concentrate. Remember lab safety. Keep alert. Keep awake. Wrong Rico's built disasters. Yeah. Guys, get the menu. It looks like there are log entries reaching back for 2 weeks. All the entries are attributed to the same author, and none of them appear to be password protective. Wow. 2 weeks ago. The new formula arrived today, Formula 17. I swear, whoever names these things must have no imagination at all. Formula 17? Honestly. Still, I can't wait to start working with it. From what I've read, early clinical trials were promising in the extreme. Amazingly potent, this stuff, and increasing potency means less frequent injections at a lower dosage. There's nothing not to like. Despite my enthusiasm, there is still much to be done. Speeding up absorption rates is first on the list, and I have some concerns regarding the subject's immune reactions. Perhaps the formula could be tailored on a patient-by-patient basis. Last week. Tailoring doses to individual patients has worked wonders. The key was taking a gene therapy-based approach. They've been using it on medicine for ages, so why not apply the same logic here? So in a nutshell, I've just used the subject's own DNA to delude their immune system to believe that Formula 17 belongs in their bodies. Simple and effective. This approach has helped to increase the formula's absorption rate, as well as significantly reducing incidence of rejection. Unfortunately, it also rules out an easily mass-produced product, but I'm convinced that the results will justify the additional costs. Then yesterday's entry. A week. He wastes an entire week before telling me that tailoring the mixture is an unacceptable solution, and then he tells me the trials begin tomorrow. I have no time, and Gatesbright's applying so much pressure that I can barely think. Bastard. Hoshifer's probably threatening him. All of them can rot. Maybe now that Hoshifer's playing heat the sheets with Gatesbright's secretary, he'll learn to lighten up. We can only hope. Anyway, I have some new ideas to move forward with the formula. Admittedly, they're far-fetched, possibly even dangerous, but if I don't start producing some results, I get the feeling that it won't be my problem for much longer. Wish me luck, General. It's science time. Yeah. He was overworked and ended up falling asleep and breaking his thing and died. Like, just before I got here, apparently. Yeah, there's nothing else to do there. This is just, you get some karma and you got to pick up some stuff and that was it. So the only place left for me to go is down this elevator, I guess, because, yeah. Eight, 4, 7, 9, 2. Let's go.